Ladies and gentlemen, the author of United Worlds Authority, Book 1, Wrong Time and Place, Mr. Stephen L. Baker.
Greetings, everyone. I have a problem with the sci-fi movie Spacecraft. They're ridiculous. What you have is something that's supposed to be functional in space and also fly in atmospheres. The two most popular, of course, are Star Wars and Star Trek. Star Trek in particular, their shuttle has about as much aerodynamic capability as this book. Of course, what the elitists say is that fighters in the future will have excess power, excess energy. I worked 30 years in missile and aircraft development, and I can tell you a fighter does not have an excess of anything, certainly not power. Power is a premium. If you're going to be in an atmosphere, you're going to have flight surfaces. And a perfect example of that is a fighter that's featured in the book, the Mantaz Heavy Fighter Mark 8F. If you notice, there are 6 flight surfaces. Primary wing, dihedral tail section, and down below what you would call flight-worthy canards. You notice there are no intakes. It's a spacecraft. It doesn't need air to breathe. It's a 2-seater pilot, co-pilot, twin engines. The primary weapons are these tubes, which I won't bother to go into, and a backup weapon, a cannon. Now, some will say that's laughable, but we thought cannon were outdated in the Vietnam War, and found out the communists had cannon on theirs, and when our missiles were done, our F-4s were helpless. That mistake was corrected quickly. The reason for flight surfaces is what they call energy management. It's efficiency. You do not want to waste power, even if you have an excess of it. There is no reason to squander it. You can use that power for engines. You can use it for weapon systems, defensive systems, life support, communications, navigation, and all the other different things that are needed in a modern fighter. Now, the fighter's not the only complaint that I have. Star Trek, don't mean to pick on them, but this is a very, as Hollywood likes to do, a very spacey, futuristic look, but it's not practical. It has windows on it. It has these extensions that support the engines, the command center. This is risk, as the windows are risk. You don't need windows on a warship. I worked 2 years with electric boat, nuclear attack submarines. There are no windows on that craft. Here's a weapon system that operates in complete darkness and very high pressures. A spacecraft is in darkness also in space. In its environment is highly negative pressure, 0. This is what a spacecraft should look like. Somewhat like a spaceborne submarine. There are no extensions, nothing hanging off the edge of it. It does have its engine system in the back. This is the heavy cruiser. It's called Eagle's Talon class. And if you were to have a contest for spacecraft, a beauty contest, this would not win. In fact, the crews refer to this as the brick, or just simply ugly, and it is that. A true spacecraft that is perfect in every manner, that has no openings on it all, is going to be this. Familiar? Flying saucer, as we call it. This is United Worlds Authority. It's a heavy cruiser. And if you look at it end on exactly, it's aerodynamic. This rim, this disc, is flight worthy. It will fly. It's been tested in a wind tunnel, and it lifted. A little wobbly, but it did indeed. My complaint is probably not going to be too popular, but I believe 30 years working with missile and aircraft development puts a little credence in it. The United Worlds Authority addresses those points, but it's not written to be technical. It is written to entertain. That's why people read. and people love reading about people. Get on the internet, look up UnitedWorldsAuthority.com, and you'll see some of the testimonials. It is a very enjoyable book. It involves many things, in particular international and intergalactic intrigue. I know many will make comments on this little presentation. Please do. I'd love to discuss them with you. In the meantime, enjoy yourself, live well, and it's been a pleasure talking to you. Good day.